I feel like depression is slowly killing me, which makes sense because depression does shorten the lifespans of people who have it if it goes untreated. And it's not like I'm not trying to treat my depression, because I am definitely trying. I'm in therapy. I am taking medication, but it all feels sort of like I said in a previous video with as a joke, but that I'm circling the drain. So as the title of this video suggests, I have been having a really rough go of it the past few weeks. Not for any particular reason, it's just I feel like the change of seasons really makes my depression that much worse. Usually this year it is particularly bad just because one, I feel like my depression has worsened in my adult life. Quarter life crisis here. My depression worsening maybe. But yeah, the weather is definitely it's finally broken a little bit. It's been colder, and I think my body can tell, my brain can definitely tell, and it is tough to reckon with. I moved setups, and that is because although I've not found a new place to move into yet, I want to make it easier for myself and for the people in my life who are going to be helping me move whenever that does happen. So yeah, I've moved my desks downstairs to an easier access room that will allow me to, and whoever helps me will allow them to move it more efficiently, because originally it was on the top floor, and going down 2 flights of steps lifting heavy furniture is like the least ideal thing you can do. So make it easier on myself, make it easier on my people, my family members who are going to help me move eventually, to move my stuff into the first floor room. It was not fun to carry my gaming desk, which I realized you guys haven't seen, which is just like a wooden, I got it from Amazon a couple years ago. Not even a couple years, a lot of years ago, in 2019. It's like it's a faux wood desk. It's not super heavy, but carrying it without help is not ideal. So I literally had to like put it on my back and carry it down the flight of stairs from the top floor. So I literally was like this, carrying it down. And I didn't ding it up too bad. I did crash at the bottom because I didn't know how to set it down. My fingers, my grip was loosening. You know, when you grip stuff, like the muscles in your wrist start to fatigue, because I was really just gripping it with the tips of my fingers, and my wrist was fatiguing, so I had to sit it down. It crash landed, but that's neither here nor there. This video is sort of just an update, I guess, on my life and my situation. So yeah, I've really been struggling mentally. I've been journaling, and just yesterday I wrote an entry that was like, I'd be better off if I was dead. I feel like I would finally know true bliss if I stopped thinking. And because it's just like my brain is racing 24/7, and it's hard to make it stop. It doesn't stop, actually. It never stops. It just is racing 24/7, worrying about this and that. And it's like, really, anxiety and depression are a deadly combination. They're the worst type of pairing you could possibly have. But yeah, I feel fundamentally broken. And it's funny because it's not funny. My little sister called me last night, and I was up. I've really been not doing good and taking care of myself. I've been staying up much later than I should, and I've been not going to the gym because I can't get out of bed in the morning, and that's a whole other story. But yeah, she called me last night, and she was crying, and she was like, yeah, I want to be happy. I want to be happy. And listening to her describe her symptoms and what she's been going through, strange, because the way she describes it is exactly the way that I feel. And I'm like, so often when you're depressed, and depressed people especially, I feel like we do this, we tend to think that it's just us, that we're alone in our suffering and no one else has gone through this form of suffering that we have, and it's just us. But it's like listening to my little sister, who is much younger than me, tell me that basically verbatim how I'm feeling, that she's feeling. It's comforting in a sad way. And she said, yeah, when we talk about it, when me and her talk about it, I feel like I'm seen, because no one else really understands it. But when I talk to you about it, I know that you understand it, because we're literally going through the same thing. So it's just like, yeah, it's just like, how do you have two people who are wildly like separated by years, like almost a decade between us, suffering the same way? It begs the question, is it genetic, or is it like how we were raised? Which I'm inclined to believe it's how we were raised, because obviously growing up in the same household with multiple people, multiple children having the same sort of symptoms and outcomes, it tends to lend itself to the theory that it's how you were raised. But I watched this video yesterday that's like 10 signs you were emotionally neglected as a child or something like that. And pretty much all of the signs and their manifestations in adult life were exactly what I'm going through. So it's like, you doubt yourself, You are scared to get close to people. You're scared to be vulnerable with people. You only can be settled when you know everyone else is happy and settled, and it's that sort of thing. And it's like there's more. It's more involved than that. The woman, I'm pretty sure she's like a psychologist or something. She made the video, but very interesting. I may link it. I may not. Who knows if I remember to link it. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, I relate to this. Pretty much every single one of these things is verbatim what I think and feel on a daily basis. I don't want to take my life, obviously. I want to stay alive, I think, in a broad sense. And that was part of the topic that me and my sister were talking about last night. It's just like the peace that non-thinking, that non-existence would bring us. And it's like, it's so tragic to think that you get to a place in your life where not living anymore seems like a more viable option than staying alive and fighting, because you just feel like you're up against the worst foe, which is your own brain. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. You know, you can treat it, you can take medication, you can do therapy, but it's like, it's not a cure-all. Those things don't cure you. They help manage your symptoms, but they don't cure you. And it's like, at this point, give me a lobotomy or something. I don't know. I just really been going through it, and I wanted to stop. I literally, if I could cry easier, I think I would be crying, because I literally have each week I make a to-do list of things to do at work, and that's been hell. It's been a nightmare to work, because my motivation for everything is gone. I haven't played any video games. I haven't really done much creative stuff. I've been working on my shorts and making shorts, of course, because it's like that. It gives me fulfillment and it helps me a little bit. I've still somehow had the motivation to do that, but I've not really been doing a lot of stuff that really makes me feel like me again. Writing has stopped. I've not really progressed in my novel pursuits because my friend is still looking at my stuff. He's still not gotten back to me yet. I texted him. He said he fell behind and he's going to catch up on it. So not much update there, but yeah, if I could cry, the point of that story was on my to-do list. At the top of my to-do list is to cry. If I could cry easier, I feel like I would have been crying this entire week. I just feel like I think about stuff and I just want to break down and cry, but it's not easy for me to cry, so I don't end up crying, but I want to. It's like I almost envy my friends and my siblings who can cry much easier than me. I'm like, I wonder why that is. Why it's difficult for me to cry. I think but even like before, SSRIs can hinder your ability to cry. It's like a known side effect of them. But before that, I feel like I struggled to cry. Like I really have to concentrate on crying to cry. And I don't know where that comes from or why that is necessarily. I find it strange. I find it weird. And it's a little bit annoying because, it's like when you're so emotionally pent up and you've got so many thoughts running through your head and you just want to release. Crying is sort of the easiest way to do that, and I feel better when I cry. I mean, when I've cried recently, it's like it won't stop. Like I cry and cry and cry and cry, like for like hours at a time. I just can't stop crying. So it's like there's so much going on in my brain and in my body that it's just like it won't stop coming, which is a little bit scary. But when you're at a point where it's just like you're overwhelmed and you cry, you feel better afterwards. I mean, you feel sober afterwards. But it's like, yeah, I don't know how long this video is going to be honest. I don't have a ton to say, really. My last few videos have been rather long, if you couldn't tell, and they've been doing okay. I've gained a couple subscribers. I've just lost a subscriber today, which is sad. I've been obsessing over my analytics, which is just another thing. But yeah, I've been obsessing over my analytics as of late, just sort of keeping track of what is doing well and when, and what times to upload things and what have you. So yeah, I don't know how long this video is going to be. I'm really having a hard time, and I think it's hard for me to imagine a future where I'm feeling better. Like if I really think about it, I'm like I can't even think about it. It's like I used to be, when I was younger, I used to be so focused on the future. I would fixate on a point in time where I imagined that my life would be better and I would be happier and I would be fulfilled and whatever. And I ignored the present because the present was so bad, I feel like maybe, that I sort of shunned that and I ignored all the present and just focused and fixated on the future. And now, as I've grown older and as my living situation has improved a little bit, I feel like I am fully grounded in the present, which is not a bad thing in and of itself necessarily. The past is history and the future does not yet exist. So it's like, it's good to focus on just what you have now and be present, because it's like, I feel like you're better if you just focus on the present and not dwell on the past and focus on the future, which is what I used to do. I used to dwell on the past. I used to think that I would never feel as good as I did back in whatever past situation I was envisioning. But now it's like when I try to think about the future, I can't. And I said this in one early video that I was like, when people ask you like, oh, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I'm like, I can't even see myself tomorrow. Like, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. 5 years is such a long time. It's been 3 years since like notable changes have happened in my life, and that feels like it's gone fast and slow at the same time. Like, it's been the fastest 3 years of my life, and it's also been the slowest. And this year has been just so hard. It's been incredibly difficult. Probably my most difficult year. Just so many life changes, so many things going on. And, depression worsens because of those things and also makes them so much harder to move on from. So it's just like I'm perpetually stuck in the worst headspace, and there's nothing I can do to fix it because medication only goes so far, therapy only goes so far. And then you start thinking, maybe I'll be happy if I stop existing, if I stop thinking. But there's no safe way to do that. There's no way to turn off your brain. So yeah, I'm just really, really distraught. I'm really, really struggling. Obviously, politics is not helping. That's been making things much worse. In fact, as much as I try to disconnect, I keep getting pulled back into it. I can't fully disconnect and disengage because I care too much about it. And we love to perpetually make ourselves upset. And I wrote in my journal, I am a glutton for torment. And I think that stays true. That reigns true. I am a glutton for torment. I love to torture myself, whether it be with thinking about things that upset me or looking at things and watching things that upset me. It's difficult. And it's important when you're going through moments like this to focus on things that bring you happiness and joy, sort of. And it's just like, when you're depressed, so few things do that for you, and I really am struggling to find the things in my life that restore my sense of personhood and make me feel joy. Like, generally, friends, family, those things, my cat, of course, you may see him behind me.
Hi.
Those things bring me, like, I know that I'm supposed to feel joy about those things, and I do generally feel joy when I'm doing those things, but it's like, for the most part and most of my day, there is no joy. I'm just sort of like existing, and that's, I'm not living, I'm just killing time. That's what I feel like. And it's tragic, it's sad, and it's like, what would I be doing if I was different, if I thought differently, if I wasn't so scared of people and environments? Would I be more fulfilled? Would I be happier? Would I be doing more things? And it's like, I don't know. I'm just like, it's on a fundamental level. That's where I say, when I say I feel broken, that's what I mean. It's like, I cannot function, I cannot exist in society in a way that is productive, in a way that everyone else can. My brain doesn't work that way. Being around a lot of people makes me physically feel ill. The anxiety that I feel is just overwhelming, and it comes to a certain point in every interaction where I just feel overwhelmed and like I want to like pause everything and put a pause in the situation and then remove myself from it because I just feel so overwhelmed. And I was like, that's not normal. That's not healthy. And my little sister said last night, she's like, it just feels like it's getting worse. It's not getting better. And I try so hard to make it get better and nothing works. It's not getting better. I feel like I'm going to be stuck like this forever. And that is a perfect summation of how I feel every day. This sucks. This is the worst. Like, why is this me? And there's no meaning to be made out of it necessarily. I live and I strut upon the stage, and then I die, and then that's it. Part of what I wrote was, I won't have made any meaningful difference if I die. If my life ends suddenly, I will have contributed little. I've written a novel, but will that go on to make grand waves in life in some way? I doubt it. Just being realistic here. You're not saying that it can't, but I'm just saying, like, realistically, I don't know. Yeah, I'll just become a statistic. I'll be another man who took his own life. And what would that do for anybody? It would make my family upset. It would make my friends incredibly upset. And, I may find peace, of course, but like thinking about non-existence, and it's like, as the human, it's hard to imagine that because it's like all you've known is existence. So thinking about not existing anymore is very scary. Like, I have very vivid daydreams of, my life ending, and when it ends, I snap out of it, and I'm like that. It's scary. It makes my heart sink, and I'm like, I don't want to, but I do. I want just to feel what it's like to not be in misery and abject misery all the time. It's just difficult, man. It's just so difficult, and I feel like I'm losing the battle. I wrote something some time ago, and it was like, my mind, I feel like my mind is a battle that I'm losing, and it reigns true. I definitely feel like I'm losing it. And it's just like, it's depression sucks specifically because it's just like, you feel good some days, and then other days you feel just so bad. So you sort of trick yourself, and that's what my sister was saying last night too. She was like, yeah, because I feel really bad, and then I get a moment of where I'm like, oh, I'm fine, and everything's fine. And then I feel real bad again, and it's just like, it tricks you. And I'm like, yeah, I get the same way. Like, there's little things that happen in the day that make me feel better, and I'm like, oh, I'm fine. I don't know why I was so depressed earlier, and then it comes right back like tenfold and really smacks me in the face. But yeah, that's the update, I guess. I haven't actually sat down to record something new since the 20th of September. because I've just been working on shorts, like I said. So it is October 2nd today as of me recording this, and this is the first like new content that I'm recording since having made my Lego video, which was a lot of fun to make, and I did enjoy making that. Apparently that was enough to make someone unsub though from my channel, which is funny. I wonder why. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just like so panicked about a bunch of different things, and so nervous about a bunch of different things, and so sad about just life in general. You know, I feel truly like I'm on the track to going nowhere, and it hurts. And I'm so numb and emotionally dead right now that I can't even bring myself to cry about it, even though it hurts really bad to think about. I just feel like, and I'm not saying anything new, and that's ultimately, I'm like so cynical. I'm too cynical for my own good, because I think these things and I'm like, this isn't new. Like, people have thought this before. People in my shoes have been here thinking this way. It's nothing new. You know, we toil and we spend our lives worrying about various things, and then ultimately we die and realize that none of it matters. So I'm worried about all this stuff, and just my brain is a really toxic place to be, and there's no way to escape it. And very few things bring me comfort nowadays, which makes it worse. And it's just like, it's because my family's moving, and my little sister was like, yeah, I'm just so scared that the move, I think I've hyped it up in my brain to where it's going to be different, it's going to be better, and I'm just so scared that the reality is setting in now, that what if it's not better? You know, what am I going to do if it's not better? And I feel the same way, because it's like, thinking about moving usually is very scary to me, and I don't want to move necessarily, but I do, because this place is like, in my brain, it's cursed. You know, I lived here with my ex, and I want to get away from that. I want to fully distance myself from her image, her memory, 100%. And by leaving this place, I feel like that'll be the final nail in the coffin. Her ghost has not been haunting me at all recently, actually, which is good for once. That's not an additional burden that I've been feeling, but it's just like, to get away from this place finally will feel really good. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I'm going to move to a different place, but is anything going to be really different? Like, am I actually going to be different? Are things going to be different? Am I going to feel any better? I really don't know. Money is a big concern of mine, of course. Really been struggling financially, and I feel trapped. I feel like there's nothing I can do in that regard either. So it's just like, there's so many avenues in life where I feel cut off. I'm like, turn this way, dead end, turn this way, dead end, turn this way, dead end. So yeah, it's been really hard. I'm going to keep going as best as I can right now, just cause, you know, just cause. I don't even know why. As Rustin Cole said, I lack the constitution for sewer slide. It's funny, and this is like one more thing I'll leave you with before I stop talking. I was looking at old pictures of myself, and this is something I do because I don't have social media on my phone. It's like nothing, I don't have anything really to mindlessly scroll besides Reddit, which I just use the website, and then like my Photos app. So I was just going through and I was looking at old pictures of myself from a particularly rough time in my life. And before I was on medication, before I'd been diagnosed with depression, though I knew I had something, and I just looked at, and there's like, I could see there was nothing in my eyes. You know, when you look at pictures of yourself or people in general, and you can see like joy in their eyes, you can see like emotion in their eyes, you can see something in their eyes. And I looked at myself, and I almost didn't recognize myself. I was like, wow, I was really going through it, huh? And there was just nothing in there, nothing in my eyes. They just looked blank, really like sad. Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.